Good afternoon, everybody on the East Coast, and good morning to everyone else who is Central, Mountain, or Pacific times. I just want to thank you for joining our webinar today, where we'll be talking about big data in retail, or specifically why big data is a must-have for retail and how to get started. My name is Doug Vinson. I'm Vice President out of our Charlotte office, and I'm pleased to have with us a couple of what I would consider to be experts in the field both of big data as well as retail. Tom Kersnick will be the main speaker today. He is a director for big data solutions for Pactera. He has about 18 years of experience in big data, business intelligence, analytics, and so forth. So he has got some great experience under his belt, and I think you're really going to enjoy listening to him. He is based in Pactera's San Francisco office. And we also have Challen Bonar, who is in our Charlotte office. He is one of our senior level partners based here in Charlotte, and has about 20 years of experience in Fortune 500 clients, consulting predominantly to retail organizations as well. Flip to the next slide. So real quick before we get started, this is the shameless commercial for Pactera and who we are. You probably have not heard of us. I usually tell people we're the biggest company you've never heard of, because with 24,000 people, we are certainly not small. But the result of a recent merger, we decided to take on a new name, and as a result, we are a large company, but a new name that if you haven't heard of us, don't be surprised. We are based in Beijing, China. That's where our global headquarters is. And we are the largest IT services company based in China. We have about 21 offices in every Tier 1 and Tier 2 city in China that provides application development, application outsourcing, and a variety of application software engineering, testing, and services out of those offices. However, we have 35 offices around the world and serve clients that are predominantly Fortune 500, but certainly the leaders of many of the industries in retail, in high tech, in banking, and so forth. And I would say that big data and analytics is certainly one of the areas of expertise of Pactera. And so today, when you listen, you're listening to some folks who have done this for a lot of clients that I'm sure everyone would recognize. And you're going to learn a lot. So I look forward to this myself, and I'm going to pass this over to Challen Bonar to begin.
Thanks, Doug. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Big data, as you know, is front and center in the minds of executives and leaders across industries today, and retail is no different. Big data is becoming a key foundation, if not the primary foundation, for driving innovation and competitive advantage in modern retail solutions. And the promises are big. You may be familiar with McKinsey's recent research on big data. They believe that retailers that make the best use of big data, those that truly maximize the technology, can increase operating margins by up to 60%. They also, those that really maximize the benefits can also see productivity gains up to 1%. And Amazon is doing it right now. They attribute 30% of their annual sales to their recommendation engine, which is backed up with heavy analytics. Anyone that has shopped Amazon for more than a couple of times knows they're great at recommending products and great at cross-selling products. So it is possible. The problem and challenge for many retailers, though, is that they're still somewhat behind the curve, and the sheer amount of data available today can be quite overwhelming. Data also tends to be isolated across applications. Retailers have tons of sales data at their fingertips. They They've got customer information both in structured and unstructured forms, clickstream and other web-related data, but it tends to be isolated. And it tends to be siloed and not integrated to the point that they can use it meaningfully for insights. On top of this, you have customers that are becoming smarter, more resourceful, and they have much more information today at their hands than they've ever had before. They're also quite a bit more selective than they have been in the past, and frankly, today they're less loyal than they have been in the past. You and I can shop prices standing in the aisle of our local store. If we happen to find a price that's significantly lower or catches our attention, we can buy that right then and there, hop back in our car, drive over to the next retailer, and pick it up. So the challenges are there, and they're tough challenges. Next slide, please. But big data offers some answers to these challenges. We are seeing and helping clients benefit from it in a variety of ways. I've got 5 different different options listed here, and but there's certainly more. And but I feel these are ones that you can relate to well, and might have some insight to as well. So big data concepts and technologies allow us to tailor campaigns to target specific customer segments and even achieve the one-to-one personalized marketing that we've been talking about for years. Amazon's the king in this area. They use what they call interest-based ads to generate very personalized, very specifically target ads to those of us that use Amazon. I happen to be an Amazon Prime user, so I use it often, and I know they have very detailed information on my buying habits. I also happen to be very interested in Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark Expeditions, that is. I buy and I read a lot of books on the subject. Amazon knows this, and it's interesting. Over the last year, they very routinely send out ads and emails to me offering new books on either Lewis and Clark or similar type explorers and expeditions. I don't buy them all, but I do buy many, and it keeps me in touch with Amazon, and it keeps me staying with Amazon because they keep exposing me to new, interesting books. Predictive analytics also offers dramatic changes to the way retailers react to changing market conditions and product demand. As part of a big data solution, it can provide the ability to uncover and evaluate product sales patterns at the local market level, which in turn allows retailers to make more precise moves within their distribution networks to provide the right product at the right location and in the right quantity. If you've heard of the IHL group, they provide research about technologies deployed in the retail industry. They recently showed retailers are leaving about $800 billion annually on the table as a result of inventory distortion, that is stockouts and overstocks. You know, with that number in mind, predictive demand becomes a very compelling opportunity. Another area for transformation is customer loyalty and retention. Customer loyalty and retention has traditionally been managed through customer satisfaction measures and prevention of customer defections. In today's world, though, we can evaluate changing customer sentiments using analysis of unstructured and social channel data sources and take immediate corrective actions to change some of those sentiments for the retailer's benefit. I was recently talking to a customer experience exec for a large retailer about the way they use social analytics to manage customer loyalty, and they happen to be using a product called Clarabridge, and Clarabridge is sentiment engine, using the sentiment engine, they're able to mine and pick out spikes in negative and positive customer sentiments that they're finding out on Facebook and other social sites. And they can quickly devise very tactical actions to either modify that negative perception or take advantage of the positive ones. Retailers also spend huge amount of dollars on weekly advertising tabs and promotion campaigns. But, you know, in many cases, the advertising and promotion decisions that they're making are not based on science. They're more likely intuition and gut feels. They tend to be more of an art than a science. This past year, I've been working with a large retailer that wants and needs to be more scientific in their promotion decisions. In the past state, their promotions were not tied well to ad campaigns, and they had very little real transparency into their promotion inventory. So we've been working with them. We designed a process solution that allows them to coordinate their weekly tabs with other promotion campaigns. And while they're doing that, while they have the promotion in flow, they can better monitor their promotion inventories. So the next step is to integrate big data into this solution so that their promotion item selection decisions are more scientific, and so that they can generate more consistent sales and determine which of their promotions are the best sellers over time. Finally, in-store analytics. In-store analytics has the potential to transform retail in a variety of ways, from improving store floor designs to enhancing loss prevention and reducing shrinkage. It can also be used to improve customer experience within the store. So big data has the power to transform retail businesses. You know, companies like Amazon and Walmart have embraced it, and they're reaping the competitive benefits right now. The challenge for the rest of us, and for those that are a little bit behind, is where to focus their attention and resources, and how to structure big data solutions to get the most impact. With that, I will turn it over to Tom. I know you're going to enjoy what he has to share, and I'm sure you'll learn quite a bit from it. So thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. I appreciate your attendance and sincerely hope that you gather some very valuable information and insights from our presentation today. This is a very exciting topic in regards to big data within retail. We're going to spend some time in this webinar on why big data is so big, the reasons why big data is critical for retail, getting started with big data, some 5 steps, how big data transforms retail, how to implement big data, and some retail use cases for you. So what makes big data so big? What happened? In the last 2 years, statistics from various publications state that 90% of the world's data has been created since 2010. With the emergence of smartphones, social media, and both user and machine-generated data, data is growing exponential in size. Wireless devices are increasing data volumes as they outpace traditional devices. At this rate, we will begin to see close to a 35% year-over-year increase for the next 3 years. My prediction, as new business models emerge, we will begin to see 55% year-over-year increases, definitely setting a standard in zettabytes rather than in petabyte storage. Digital content is also increasing data volumes immensely due to product models capturing more precise indicators. For example, products by YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, and others are changing their business models in the next few years to create even more detailed revenue streams. So big data is extremely critical for retail, just to keep up with the masses overall. In most retail organizations, internal data is very challenging to comprehend in understanding your customer as well as demand. Publications state that 1/3 of retailers are in the dark regarding data that could be available to them. The silo approach within organizations is the primary cause of the broken data pipeline. The primary reasons as of why this is a hurdle are due to the lack of sharing data, definitely a major obstacle in measuring ROI, misuse of available data in marketing communications, not able to personalize directly to your customer, linking data at the customer level, and this is needed to thoroughly understand user behavior, infrequent data collections, only extracting from logs and online survey systems used within your traditional reporting ecosystem, and definitely not enough customer data, not capturing the details of the customer. This includes proper timings of viewed products, key indicators on why a user looks at one product versus another, and so on. Goals for using big data in retail. Most retailers definitely understand the value of big data, but here's an interesting breakdown of actual improvement versus deployment expectations. As any retailer, having merchandise is quite important to sustain your customer base, but marketing is equally important. If you look at this slide closely, you will notice the ordering within improvement versus deployment. Overall communication becomes the #1 reason in actual deployment. The reason why? To keep the customer coming back, and hopefully not in an annoying way. From my experience, all of these are important to keep the customer happy, committed, and loyal. The big data ecosystem allows you to do so. If you notice as well, the ordering of improvement versus deployment has changed. As you realize within your company, these are the major factors that you want to change within your organization. But when it really boils down to actually deploying it, marketing seems to always come first, as well as e-commerce. So getting started with big data, the 5-step plan. See, how does your organization get started with big data? Customers today are extremely demanding, and companies are becoming more savvy in their user behavior analytics. So how should you approach this? Well, you can get started this way. #1, how mature is your organization in its approach to big data? There are several types of POCs to guide your ongoing investments. POCs consist of various types of projects to ease yourself into the big data ecosystem. Understanding your business functions, #2. Big data can drive improvement and create detailed use case scenarios. Key areas to start with are always pricing, segmentation, and marketing effectiveness. #3, size up your data management and analytics capabilities by identifying your gaps and deriving a game plan for project completion. #4, making sure your data plan utilizes data management, internal policy and process governance, as well as data collection for use in sharing your data. And last but not least, anticipate your process change and helping teams adjust to incorporating big data analytics into precise decision making. So in this case, I would say that #5 is probably going to be one of your biggest hurdles, and that is incorporating big data into your company as a whole. There's going to be a change of mindset for sure, because now instead of like going off of cues and what you think is correct, you're actually going to have to do some extreme analysis to try to find better ways to assist with coming up with new revenue streams. So as you can see in the bottom right corner, big data is all about volume, variety, velocity, and veracity. And the arrows are going in all sorts of different directions, which opens a lot of doors for you to do extreme analysis on your data. So how will big data transform retail statistically? So on the model on the left, you can see that retail organizations today have tried to take the one-to-one marketing approach. This entails delivering to the right customer at the right time in the most relevant way in communication. But as you know, you are constrained by customer segmentation. As you can see in the flow in today's marketing approach, it allows you to follow up with a customer based on a campaign that you have launched. Big data technologies allow you to dive deeper in understanding the customer user behavior and providing individual communication. This is a much more detailed approach in targeting, measurement, and performance. So as you can see, the curve will be changing when you add a big data ecosystem. Now it evolves into statistical learning about your campaigns and your customer overall. A great example is that Amazon is doing this right now, as Sharon mentioned. When you're looking up something and you've bought previous products, such as for me it's bikes and surfboard gear right now, I get pinged all the time with things that are related to that. And it's just basically showing what other users that are similar to me are buying. And it's basically they're measuring and learning me day by day every time that I log into Amazon. I really appreciate that. It makes me want to come back more and more often. So how to implement big data? Within your organization, there's not a uniformed approach in answering unique questions, but big data technologies allows you to minimize risk and increase likelihood of successful outcomes. Implementing big data should be approached utilizing these points. And these are pretty broad, but at least it gives you an idea of how to approach this. So you always begin with your stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders and what is a criteria for success? These individuals are the knowledge workers and the decision makers. For example, this is probably be your more high-end analytics team or your executives that really understand the business and the product models and the new product models that are going forward. You also need to consider your culture when it comes to big data. This involves a definite cultural shift which expects data-driven, fact-based decision-making. No more gut feel conclusions will be supported. So finding your data stewards, as I mentioned earlier, your senior analysts, individuals with a mix of technical and business skills. This can be a single person or members of a team that will produce successful results. You always want to also set clear goals with big data. Don't boil the ocean. It becomes really overwhelming and then nobody will take it very seriously in my opinion. Start off small and get an understanding of how you can utilize your big data ecosystem. Start with the major products, the major hurdles that you have, right? So a lot of times I use big data for the standpoint is what are you not able to answer? What questions are coming up all the time that can't be answered in your current ecosystem? With the freedom of big data ecosystem, it allows you to actually align yourself to be able to answer those questions going forward. Set clear goals with big data. I just mentioned that, sorry. Create your plan. Link your company's goals to the 4 V's. The 4 V's as I mentioned before. Big data, variety, volume, velocity, and veracity. How can you solve your questions that cannot be solved today, as I just mentioned? Establishing metrics. Limit these to high priority measures at the beginning. This allows your organization to move away from the silo approach to analytics business decisions. As you all know, in a large company, there's many silos that can be taken on. Product, finance, IT, etc. The big data ecosystem gives you a place to where you can actually store all of that type of data and come up with a unified answer and approach to streamlining your information. This is a great staging area for all your silos to allow everyone to see the same answer given at any point in time. So the last two, the second to the last, is deploying the actual technology. Proper architecture and ecosystems that allowed a uniform data environment I just spoke of. Very important because I found, from my experience over time is that, one group may be seeing an answer related to one thing from a revenue standpoint while somebody else is seeing the same revenue standpoint but it may be 3 to 5 cents off. This allows you to actually dive deeper into and provide a unified answer across all of the organizations. And last but not least, as I mentioned before, don't boil the ocean. Make big data little. Delivering little data in context to business use cases is extremely important. Overall, showing the value of your big data ecosystem. So start small with the bigger projects and work your way throughout the rest of them. So big data architecture. This is a high-level solution architecture that I follow on a regular basis. What this shows you is that the big data refinery, which is your big data ecosystem, it really doesn't affect your current reporting ecosystem at all. It just adds extreme value to it. As you can see here, I have some arrows that are pointing to from the online serving system. That could be your Apache web servers or wherever you're getting your data from raw logs, etc. And you're doing some transformation into your EDW so that you can come up with a more structured type of reporting system for your end users. Well, in a big data refinery, it doesn't matter. I want those raw logs as raw as I possibly can get them, as unstructured as possible. Because most of the time, well, not most of the time, but a lot of the times, your EDW is actually not providing all the data in your logs. That there may be new revenue streams or new revenue nuggets that you're not seeing at all. Well, this allows you to see them in the big data refinery, as well as add your social media, as I have on the left there, your Facebooks, your blogs, your LinkedIns, more unstructured information, other databases, as I mentioned before, the other silos that are within your company, as well as combine all of that information and come up with an aggregated solution in your reporting mechanism. So as you can see the arrows from the EDW to the big data refinery, it shows you that you can actually move data back and forth into these environments to come up with either a structured type of reporting, structured type of data from big data, or unstructured data tying to structured data that allows you to report on that. The one key thing here that's not part of the refinery is a real-time streaming system. So a lot of the clients are asking, how do we get our data real-time? Well, it's not super simple, but it actually plays and coincides very well with your big data refinery, because you can have a streaming system that actually allows your analysts or your reporting environment to actually see more of a real-time understanding of your data. And that plays very nicely if you decide to go with an API solution as well within your company. Now, an API is great because the mere fact is it provides data to not only your internal organizations and getting a unified understanding of your data, but it can also be used for outside partners that you have to give them the structured type of unstructured data. I know that that's kind of loaded, but it allows them to actually see within inside your company. Maybe you want to sell that data to somebody, or maybe you want to use that as another type of revenue stream. The innovations efforts are endless here. So how Pactera can help you with your data. Pactera can provide step-by-step big data solutions throughout your life cycle. First off, we offer some workshops which are great, and I'll go into those in the next few slides. But after that, we offer some POCs. We offer scope of services including the POC, as I mentioned, and project implementations. Projects can also include benchmark and monitoring of your big data system. That is basically helping you not only architect, but also monitor the system in a fashion to where it can help you understand how to get the most out of it. Integrations and migrations, let's say that you want, as you look back at these arrows again, you can see the EDW back to the big data refinery. That's a great implementation that can assist with providing your structured with your unstructured data. Migrations from older systems is very important as well. Such as backup tapes, that's pretty huge. We have a lot of clients these days that are trying to make the data available to their marketing teams and their product teams that have been on tape for the last 10 to 20 years. Implementation and architecture, as I showed in the previous slide. Project management from start to finish. We have a host of technical project managers that can help out in any form or fashion. We provide predictive analytics as well as any type of analytics that are needed, especially with user behavior. And then your canned reporting or your new type of reporting over your big data ecosystem. So Pactera Big Data Executive Workshop, as I mentioned before. This is one of two that we offer. This one involves strategy, planning, and expectations. Your big data strategy on what tomorrow will look like is very important. So how does it tie into your current reporting ecosystem and how big data can take you to the next level within your new revenue streams and revenue nuggets that you may want to embark upon. Using big data to establish market dominance. This is important, especially when it comes to your brand name. We can assist with that. Big data project takeaways. This is where we can actually do a lot of the migrations and other types of scenarios to where we can actually work with you on the POC. Roadblocks to implementing big data analytics. This was mentioned before. This is predictive user behavior analytics, those types of scenarios. Assisting in defining an ROI for big data, as well as getting the right ROI on big data. The next one is a technical workshop that we also offer. This is more geared towards your IT teams and anybody who's actually technically savvy that's interested in how your big data ecosystem would work. We offer system tuning and configuration management, dealing with both structured and unstructured data, monitoring and diagnosis and the automated behavior detection of your big data ecosystem. And when it comes to solution architecture, we're going to assist with processor, memory, and system architectures for the analysis, benchmark, metrics, and workload characterization for big data, and fault-tolerant and recovery issues when you have within your distributed environment where we can show you how to recover very quickly and easily. And the last one here is data management and analytics for vast amounts of unstructured data. As you saw in the architecture slide, the ones on the left is how do you incorporate all that and how do you tie it to your structured data. Now please keep in mind these are not limited here by any means. We'll be happy to assist with any more types of bullet points here that are not mentioned. I just ran out of room on my slide to do so. So we'll have a one-pager that will be coming out that we'll be sending to you. And the one-pager will consist of a little bit more detail as well as you can follow up with us after this presentation if you like to understand the workshop a little bit better. All right, so now we're going to be getting into some retail use cases here. The first one here we're going to discuss is about customer insight and behavior. So retail analytics basically follows these 8 circles, as you can see. Most companies are being able to do this already today, and they're measured in some form or fashion, either within your current reporting ecosystem or possibly with a third-party solution. But this is this really answering all the necessary questions? Maybe at a high level or a detailed aggregate level it is. And does this answer all your business questions? Definitely not when it comes to the what-if scenarios. So as you can see here, as I mentioned, most companies are taking on marketing segmentation and targeting, upsell and cross-channel marketing, lead optimization, predictive price optimization, predictive inventory planning, market basket and shopping analysis, customer ROI, and the lifetime value of your customer. And last but not least, the customer satisfaction, feedback, and advocacy. So let's begin here with the first, as I mentioned. Let's talk about customer churn analysis. So this is how you can really understand customer behavior and preferences, as I mentioned here. Within a big data environment, you can rapidly test and build behavioral model of a customer. You can combine multiple data sources, whether it's your transactional systems, your social data, blogs, whatever's necessary to really understand the flow of user behavior. And within the big data refinery, you can structure and analyze that data, as I just mentioned. You can provide social graphs, pattern identification and recognition to find extreme indicators of your users, as well as feature extraction to find root causes. For example, defining attributes and modeling statistical significance to those folks. Combinations and sequences of attributes and actions definitely factor in. And once again, I'm going to go back to the Amazon model. They are definitely doing this, as I mentioned. As I approach the my books that I buy frequently on Amazon, I notice that they really tie it to the author and related keywords to those books. I've been provided books that I never even thought that I would read that are extremely important to me, and I've really learned a lot from Amazon to be able to actually recommend those books to me. Really utterly amazing. Customer loyalty. Once again, this is part of this first use case here. So comparison shopping is making retail hyper-intensive. There's so many competitors out there. There's so many people providing it. My inbox is full of stuff trying to get me to buy things from everyone. Discount programs, email correspondence, entice shoppers. Brand loyalty means attention to detail and service. I personally really like those emails that I get that don't just say, "Dear Tom, you should look at our site," but "Dear Tom, you've looked at these 8 things, and here you may want to be recommended to look at these things, and we'll give you a coupon just to try them." Wow, that's amazing. I definitely will sign up for that. Customer life cycle is more than just purchases. I mean, absolutely. If you were able to browse online data and use to capture customer attention, for instance, if I'm on Amazon again, apology for keep using them, but I love them so much, is that if I'm looking at 3 books and all of a sudden they recommend another 3 books to me, and it's based on that I was looking at one book for 5 minutes and reading the intro to that, they pick up on the keywords of that intro and provide me 3 new books when I refresh my browser. That's amazing. I mean, you realize the processing time that's associated to that, and it comes back within milliseconds. Loyalty purchases bridge the gap between purchases. So if I'm buying loyal to them, for instance, if I keep buying toilet paper for them and I schedule it to show up on my door every month on the same day, then they give me discounts for it. I've been provided 10% discounts on a quarterly basis just because I buy the same product over and over and over again. That keeps me coming back. Last, reach into online channels. Online engagement is personalized just as in-store. I find that I'm shopping more online these days because when I go in-store, it's not that great of an experience for me personally. I'm learning more online than I'm learning from going into a store. I definitely, sometimes if I want that item immediately, I'll have them ship it to that store. But I've never found the customer experience, especially over the last few years, to be as it is online and personalized emails to me that really make me happen. Maybe because I'm in front of the computer all the time, that may be a part of it. So the last one is connecting online and in-store shows customer awareness. As I just mentioned before, it's the same scenario. If I'm going to buy something and I want it now, I will just go pick it up at the store. But I always go back and receive an email the last few days is, how was your customer in-store experience when you bought it from us online? Wow, that's great. I will definitely answer your survey. So here's the architecture, high-level architecture associated to this use case. So as you can see, the demographics, geography, and your other data is coming into your big data refinery. And it's referred to as the intake data here. Not only that, but your transactional data, purchase data, is coming into the big data refinery as well. In this example, we're using Hadoop as a distributed platform. Within Hadoop, MapReduce jobs are written as shopping pattern recognition. And this also doesn't show you here the arrow between Hadoop and the Insight reports is a real-time streaming system that's taking place to provide those reports in a more of a real-time fashion. Within the real-time streaming environment that you don't see, it also includes a way to actually produce that back to the person who's online and logged in right now, and to be able to show that added value of what those people are looking at, similar to what Amazon is doing. So the next use case that I have is brand and sentiment analysis. Okay, it is important to understand what is being said about the brand. Social media generates a flood of data, especially within a larger brand. So capturing and processing direct feedback within this client is super important. So better engagement means accurate sentiment analysis and allowing integration within their customer service systems. Handling diverse data types and associated processing. Within your current reporting ecosystem, it is extremely structured. Having an unstructured environment that plays nicely with your structured environment allows you to understand a different type of data type overall. So data sources can and will change, and the semantics are always continuously evolving. Here's a prime example. Your retail organization that decides to buy a bunch of local organizations. Within a big data ecosystem, you can intake all that data very quickly and start utilizing it to show those products online within your system that allows you to provide value to the local customers that you may have. So sophistication of algorithms is their refinery also allows vast improvements with current algorithms as well as testing of new scenarios. With this client, we were able to improve their algorithms immensely based on what they had. For example, the gobbling up of local business product was immense, but the algorithms that they currently had did not work for them. So allowing new algorithms to be created, A/B testing, understanding of the products, analysis that needed to take place to coincide with your current products to understand how that local business is doing for you. And as I mentioned, here is another example of the architecture that's associated to this large retail conglomerate. So what they are doing here is they're intaking the social media, news and blogs, and their traditional media that they had, as well as the local business data, as I mentioned. They're able to do real-time sentiment analysis and influence with all of that data and provide search and application back to that local business and charging them subscription to them. This allows them to see graphs of how their business is doing on this new site, and it also allows them to get new types of reports that they've never seen before that allows them to show how their local products are doing within a widespread audience more than they had before. Extremely important. Once again, an example, this is utilizing Hadoop, and it also uses a real-time in-memory solution to handle the search and applications. It allowed local businesses to actually see, almost in real time, how their products were selling. Well, I'd like to thank you very much. That's all I really have for my deck. Are there any questions by chance?
Hey, Tom. First of all, thank you very much. That was very informative. We do actually have a couple of questions I'll throw at you that have come in. And if you're watching right now and you want to type out a question, feel free. If there's time here, we'll try to address it. The first one is someone's asked, when you refer to the big data refinery, is that really just Hadoop? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so let me answer that. The answer is no, actually. It can be any distributed platform that your organization feels comfortable with that has to be scalable. Hadoop is only one example. Our clients use MongoDB for document-oriented real-time architecture as well as other NoSQL distributed platforms such as HBase, Storm Project, Cassandra, Redis, and Spark. There's many others to choose from.
Okay. I got one more here. Do we have to provide you with in-house hardware to conduct a proof of concept in the project lifecycle?
No, absolutely not. We offer cloud services as well as a right-shore model. We're both onshore and offshore, and we can definitely work with you to fit your needs to take your organization to the next detailed level.
Hey, Tom, I think that's it for now. You want to go ahead and wrap it up?
Yeah, please, if you see on your slide, if you have any questions or concerns, please contact Shalin or myself at the emails listed above. And you can contact me on Skype if you like. And that's all I have, sir.
Good. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you learned as much as I think we all did. And if you have any needs, again, we have either 2 to 3 hour workshops, anywhere from 1 to 3 week engagements that we can sit down and work on for road mapping your big data initiatives. And all you really have to do is just reach out to Pactera.com or the individuals on the screen directly, and we'll see what we can do to help. If you have any questions, please call us. We enjoyed having you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.